Good morning and welcome to Write Right, the University Writing Center's student podcast. I'm your host, Megan Wall, and in today's episode we are debunking the myth that college writing is monotonous and the product uninteresting. To solve this mystery, I decided to go to the experts to see what they had to say. So I tracked down a few of our very busy yet talented consultants here in the Writing Center and asked them how they managed to keep their papers from being boring. Here's what they had to say.
As a graduate student in business school, a lot of what I write can be dry and data-driven.
Here's what she means. We considered the impact of non-recurring income statement items and calculated persistent earnings as well as 5-year income statement line item averages for each company.
That's why I work the hardest on having a conversational tone. Whenever I'm editing my writing, I read it aloud and imagine that I am talking to another person.
To keep my writing interesting, I try and connect all of my classes together. For example, if I'm taking a history class or an English class, I will use the materials as anecdotal evidence in another paper.
For example, if you're asked to analyze the idea of race in the United States, you can incorporate your knowledge of the civil rights movement and race-driven court cases that you learned in U.S. history or political science.
Also, another method is to apply the essay topic to my personal life. This way, I truly feel like I'm not wasting my time reflecting on the essay topic.
I think that in order to keep writing interesting, having a unique writing style is crucial. By style, I mean sentence structure and vocabulary choice. Even if you're writing about an uninteresting topic, you can still make the reader intrigued and draw them into the paper by varying how you write a sentence. Mix up complex and simple sentences and use common and uncommon vocabulary words. The synonym function on Word helps with this.
So instead of complaining to your professor that writing papers is completely boring and pointless, just say that the practice of crafting manuscripts is exhaustively platitudinous and trivial.
Also, showing critical thinking in your writing lets the reader know that you thoroughly understand the topic and are able to draw your own conclusions.
Best advice I can think of is having interesting transitions. Think of and but as two of the more boring words in the English language. They are correct and must be used much of the time. However, if you can say something without using them, it makes the writing that much more interesting. Also, avoid starting sentences with there is and there are. Sometimes this is the only way to make a statement. However, try rewording the sentence to see for sure. And finally, using an ing verb as the main verb of the sentence is usually less emphatic than using the present form, i.e.,
he is skipping class each day to play DDR. He skips class each day to play DDR. I think that adding humor, if it's appropriate, really helps your paper stand out from the rest of the stack of droning papers that your professor has to grade. I think a lot of students have a misconception that school papers have to sound wordy and formal, but I've seen many examples of lighthearted papers that get the same point across, and it's even more effective because they're easier to read.
Here's some famous examples by Mark Twain that you probably shouldn't use in your paper.
When talking to your prof about Nathaniel Hawthorne, don't say, a classic is something that everybody wants to have read and nobody wants to read. And when your professor is handing out the assignment, don't say, work is a necessary evil to be avoided.
Also, research papers don't need to be a regurgitation of facts and quotes. Working the facts into your own words makes it more interesting to read because the audience doesn't feel like they've been assigned a few pages of a textbook to read.
We begin by defining a generic product development process that describes the basic need to design a product.
I choose topics I think are interesting, important, and potentially useful. Then I'm more involved and interested in what I'm writing.
For example, Navajo burial rituals,
The art of curling.
overuse of Ritalin on America's children.
What I used to do to make sure my stories weren't boring was to read them aloud to my 4-year-old niece. Although for the most part she had no clue what I was saying, she was actually a good judge of the rhythm and fluidity of the paper. If she fell asleep, I knew it needed work. If she stayed awake, I was probably heading in the right direction. Crazy, but it's true.
My technique is to get many individuals to read my writing. While they read, I observe their body language in order to find out whether my paper is interesting. If they ask detailed questions pertaining to my work,
Interesting.
I know they are interested in my ideas and that my paper is not completely boring.
Huh? What, I thought you were finished.
When I write a sentence, I choose each word for the purpose of conveying my thoughts and feelings as precisely as possible. When writing, I always have a dictionary at hand to check meanings and possible synonyms. I try to learn a new word every time I write. One of my high school English teachers suggested this to me,
Don't forget, Ronnie.
and since that time, I have always tried to do it.
Well, there you have it. From the experts themselves, the truth has been uncovered. College papers don't have to be mind-numbing. The professors will agree with you there. They don't like reading boring papers any more than you like writing them. Our consultants have shown if you write in a way that reflects your personal style and interests, it doesn't have to be tedious or dull. All you have to do is first pick a topic that interests you. If you are assigned a specific topic, then in your analysis you should try to relate the ideas to your life or make them meaningful to you in some way. Then you should try to vary your word choice and sentence structure. Use a dictionary or thesaurus to help you. And finally, let others read over your work to help point out areas that may need revising. Your paper should be a reflection of yourself, your humor, personality, and beliefs. You aren't boring, so why should what you write be? I would like to thank all of the consultants who participated in today's study. I hope their words have inspired you to reevaluate your writing and bring excitement and energy to your college papers from now on. If you have any questions for our consultants or need help jazzing up that paper, don't hesitate to stop by the Writing Center here on the second floor of Evans for all of your writing needs. As always, I'm Megan Wall, hoping you'll tune in next time for another exciting episode of Write Right.